This was the victim's impact statement I read. Nazba and I weren't friends for decades upon decades, and we won't get the chance to be. I wish for her sons a lifetime full of wonderful memories of a mother that spoke of them constantly. I pray for her sons to remember the way she smiled when she said their names. I owned a carpet and tile cleaning company. I got a phone call one day, and it was Nazba, and she said, "This is going to be the weirdest phone call you get." I just immediately started laughing. I'm like, probably not, because I get a lot of weird ones. And she said, "My ex gave me your number. He had used your services, and his house looks great. So can you come to my house?" And I'm like, that is not even weird. We were just both laughing right off the bat. And we stayed on the phone for an hour, and that was it. We were friends from that day on. She was just so funny and easygoing, and I think that we recognized in each other that friendship right off the bat. I believe that we met for a reason. I believe that I was there to be her friend, even though she was only in my life for a really short time and she was taken way too soon. I could have saved her if I tried harder. I could have saved her. I took this picture.
My dad had the face of somebody that was mean. I would always get that from my friends. But as soon as he started talking, it was just funny, jokes. Wherever he was, it was laughter. His name is Tomás Olivas Ornelas. He was born in Chihuahua, Mexico. We all came here when I was 5. My mom and my dad, my brother, and we've been in Phoenix ever since. My dad worked in construction his whole life, and he would always call during his lunch breaks to tell me the most random joke or to tell me the most random story. Those calls were just the best. I would just brighten up my whole day. My dad didn't call at his normally time. And I think it was like around 1 when I got my brother's call. It was him looking for my dad to see if he had called. Did I know anything about him? He tells me that he had gotten a call from my dad's coworker because he hadn't arrived to work, and there was an accident that involved a truck that looked just like my dad's. I'm like, let me call him and I'll call you back. And I call and he doesn't answer. I call my brother back and I'm like, I'll go check. I'm closer. I'll drive and stop by to the house and see if he stayed home. I get to my dad's house. The truck's not there. And start calling out for him. Dad, are you here? Opening every door in the house. No. The feeling was there. Something's wrong. I just stood there in the living room. I don't know why, but I turned on the TV. The news just came up as soon as I turned on the TV that there was multiple shootings. And the image of the news reporter speaking in the background, I seen my dad's truck. I remember being so scared.
I received a call on May the 31st, 2016, from the detective who was assigned the case. And she informed me that there had been a shooting in Mesa. The Mesa Police Department sent me pictures of the scene, and they also sent me a summary of what happened thus far. Around 3:31 in the morning, the Mesa Police Department receives a 911 call. There's a female on the line. She's obviously distressed and scared.
Help me, help me. He has a rifle in the car and he's going to shoot me. Stop! No, stop.
And then the dispatcher hears shots fired.
I'm 18 and...
Mesa police race to the scene. When they arrive there, they have no idea what's going on. They see a white SUV that's partially on a curb and a white truck that is little ways behind it. They see a woman with massive injuries, a lot of blood, and she is very close to the truck. And then the male who was sitting in the truck, and his body was riddled with bullets, and he was alive. But their attention is focused on this man who's standing behind the SUV, who immediately throws down a weapon, a large AR-15.
I can't see his hand. We got one thrown out, the other two are definitely shot. Johnny, you think we got a suspect outstanding? We have two vehicles here, and possible the shooter might be the one we have at gunpoint.
There's no way for the officers to know what this person's going to do next.
I need you to get up. Get up slowly. Put your hands on top of your head.
They don't know if there are other victims, if there are other perpetrators, if there are other weapons, if somebody else is waiting to ambush them.
Come back towards my voice. Back. 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 Get down on your knees right there.
I remember sitting in the car with my mother. She was eating a pear. So I said, Mom, what is that? And nonchalantly, it's a pear. Do you want some? And for whatever reason, sharing a pear at 4 years old with my mother is one of the things I think of a lot. And maybe because it reflects the little moments that you never get to have again. When someone passes, all of those small moments that were otherwise relatively minuscule suddenly become very treasured. I mean, if anyone saw her, the first thing they would notice is how beautiful she was, and then her love for her children. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of photos of my mother. My mom tells me that she's getting married, that she met a man. His name's Chris. I hear my mom's voice and how ecstatic and happy she is. She was hopeful that we would be a complete family again. From the moment that I met him, I was extremely attached to him. He was very charismatic. And I wanted to only see the best in him. My mother only wanted to see the best in him. She was happy. I was happy.
When I met Nazba, she was a stay-at-home mom. She had 3 boys. Nazba had told me that Chris had proposed the first day that they met the first time they saw each other, like ultimately very sweet and romantic. The boys and her husband were her life. But she was very private. She would let tidbits go at a time, not let's sit down and talk for hours about my life. So I just kind of had to gather what I could. And then as we got closer, I start to pick up on some things. You can tell when a friend is texting their spouse and you can feel the irritation. From the tidbits that I've gathered, he was an argumentative person. And then Nazma started to open up to me about Chris is having some problems. You know, Chris is using drugs. Chris has some addiction problems. She would say things like, you know, he's having a bad day. She loved him. I think she wanted him to get better. And I don't think she knew what to do.
It's very chaotic. They don't know who anybody is. Nobody's been identified, and they're trying to figure out what's happening.
Or the off ramp. Are you gloved up? Go ahead and get him. Put your hands on your back. Copy. Look behind you, Dan. Don't move.
The suspect was arrested on the scene. It turned out that his name is Christopher Glenn Wright. So the officers get him to the substation. He becomes very combative, and so they had to tase him.
You're going to listen to us. Yes, sir. You fully understand that what happened here is your fault, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Are we done? Yes, please. I want to go to the room.
They were able to get him under control and take him inside the station. His behavior is very typical of someone who is high on a stimulant. He's saying nonsensical things. Christopher's interview was very disjointed, to say the least. We had to figure out if there was a connection between the two victims. The questions in my mind were, well, what happened here? You know, could this have been a love triangle that sort of culminated in this act of violence? I didn't have a lot to go on at the time. Later that afternoon, I received a call from the detective saying that he had actually confessed to what happened.
Christopher, I'm Detective Van Galder.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing okay. I understand that you wanted to speak with somebody. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. No, I will tell you the truth about all things. Everything. And the justification. Start to finish. She needed to die because she was cheating. She was cheating on a man. And she always told me it was him, so I didn't care. And I know that she had a relationship with a Mexican man. But I saw a Mexican and her getting into the car, and I lost it. Lost it. So I got out my rifle, Daniel Defense 5.56, Mark 18, and I fired probably 3 rounds into her and 3 rounds into the other gentleman.
He accused Tomas of being there to meet Nazba, that he and Nazba were having an affair. He killed them because they deserved it, is what he said.
So you went in with the thought process that you were going to kill this guy?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That was my intent because of what's been done to me.
Right.
I hate those. I'll do it again.
He didn't have any remorse or expressed any remorse. He said it himself. I didn't feel anything, and I would do it again.
Lisa, please, how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to get some information on the shooting in Mesa. I just saw it on the news. It looks exactly like my dad's truck, and we're not able to locate my dad.
Okay. Officers are still working on it. I'll have one of the officers give you a call.
Nobody could give me no information. I start Googling hospitals in that area. I call them. We don't have anybody with that name. That's all I kept getting. I called my mom at work. My mom said she was coming over. There was a deep sadness because something inside felt like my dad had already died. That feeling wouldn't go away. Hours went by. Still no phone call. And then I look out the window, I see the detective's car parking in the driveway. I'll never forget my mom's face. She just took a deep breath. Didn't say anything. She just sat there. It took us a long time to decide who was gonna open the door. I don't think any of us wanted to, because deep down we knew what they were gonna say. She asked for us to describe my dad. Characteristics of like any tattoos, scars. When I told her that my dad had a colonoscopy bag on his stomach, and I remember her just looking down and saying, yes, that's him. And then she confirmed that he had died in the hospital.
Over the years, I started to grow apart from Chris. I think it was progressive. There was a period where he lost his job. He had tested positive for marijuana use at his work. And that's when you can tell that Chris was angry about everything. I was an overweight child, and Chris started calling me names and teasing me about that. He would mimic me and mock me. My mother would oftentimes step in. Chris, knock it off. Chris, stop. But over time, she stopped intervening with Chris. Chris became a lot more aggressive. He would smack my younger brother. He would smack me. He would smack my mother. He would grab her by the face and say, kiss me. And if she refused, he would kiss her anyways. And he might smack her until she kissed him. Then maybe grope her or do things like push her over the counter and stuff like that.
In April or May of 2016, right before she passed, Nazba texted me a picture of a badly broken arm. And she said, Chris broke my arm. He slammed it in a door. And I was, are you gonna leave? Can I come get you? And she said, no. Chris is gonna go to rehab. hopefully it'll work this time. I was like, this is severe. This is bad. You know, she confided in me a little bit. She was going to seek a divorce. And there was a big issue about the rehab asking her not to seek a divorce while he's in rehab because he's not in any state to sign any documents. And I was heartbroken, terrified, scared for her. I said, I am coming to your house. I will pack your bags. I will bring you and the boys to my house. I was begging her to leave. She said, no, I can't. I can't leave the house. I can't. I never heard from her again. That was it.
As with any situation in domestic violence, it's very progressive and slow. I didn't realize that her home was not normal and that it was abusive until I had graduated high school. One of the last days that I saw my mom alive. He's calling me these things, belittling me, and I decided that I had enough of Chris. So I remember walking toward the door so that I can get in my car and leave. That's when I look over my shoulder and I see Chris coming toward me. It happened so fast. I remember him pinning me against the wall and picking me up by my neck. And he smacks me. I felt my body against the wall and being taken off of my feet. The only thought I had was escape. I used my legs to get him off. I kicked him off of me. He stumbles back, and I leave. My mom calls me crying. Why did you do that to Chris? I said, I'm tired of Chris treating us this way. I'm tired of Chris controlling us. I'm yelling this to my mom. Chris is awful. Chris is terrible. I genuinely was tired of him. When I came home, my mom's in the car with Chris. Chris didn't really talk to me at all. He refused to engage with me. I come to her side of the car, talking to her. She says she's going to be back later. The entire time, Chris just looked straight ahead, didn't engage with any of us, didn't look our way, just was silent. And then my mom drove off. And they never really did say where they were going. That was the last time I saw her. After that, I went up to my room, I watched some TV on my bed, and then I went to sleep. So I wake up the next day, relatively early in the morning, maybe around 7 or 8. There's some knocking on the front door. I didn't know where my mother and Chris were. My older brother, my younger brother, myself. We go downstairs and there's 2 detectives. And they ask us questions individually, separate from each other. They asked me to describe the relationship between your mother and Chris. They asked, is Chris abusive? Would Chris hurt your mother? I defended Chris. I mentioned that he was just a strict parent and that he wouldn't hurt anybody. I was anticipating my mother and Chris coming home. And as a result, I didn't want any retaliation from Chris. After they spoke with me, she looked at us and said, Chris hurt your mother. really badly, and she didn't make it. And my brothers and I look at each other, kind of confused. And she says, "Your mother's dead." I remember my younger brother wailing, my older brother crying and trying to console my younger brother. And I just remember not being able to accept it, that it had happened. My mother and Chris came home that night. I was asleep, but my brother was awake, and Chris started going around the house, searching bedrooms and pointing flashlights at everybody. What that means to me is that he was pointing his rifle at everybody in the house. My mother was trying to get him to stop, pleading with him. "Chris, stop. Chris, knock it off." And they both left the house again. My mother was intentionally trying to get him out of the house so as not to harm us. She made a lot of sacrifices in her life, and on this day, that was one of them.
Help me. He has a rifle in the car and he's going to shoot me. Stop! Stop! No, stop! We're going to get you started as well. Thank you. I'm going to keep this line open. Okay, I'm going to stand.
It's hard to listen to, knowing that those are the last few words that Nasba ever spoke, and they were in terror. Christopher Wright had killed his wife, basically in the middle of the street. And not only did he shoot her, but Christopher Wright shot someone who he thought was meeting Nasba, his wife. I requested the phone logs for both Nasba and Tomas. And we went through it piece by piece to see if Tomas had ever called Nasba or whether she had ever called him. There was none of that. No indications of that. Nothing. So despite Christopher continuously telling during his confession that Tomas and Nasba were having an affair, there's no indication anywhere that those two knew each other. So what we were trying to do in this case was to dissect the whys more than anything else. Why did Christopher decide to kill his wife on that particular early morning hour, and why he decided to kill Tomas as well? After I was able to review all the evidence, the photos, the reports, and the interview with Christopher Wright, this is what we figured happened in this case. Christopher Wright has been angry. He had been using a lot of drugs. Christopher had marijuana, trazodone, tramadol, and Zoloft in his system. He admitted to buying an 8-volt and basically using it during those just 2 or 3 days, which is incredible. He was facing a divorce that he did not want. Christopher's intent, this is according to him, was to crash the vehicle somehow and kill her. He started driving extremely fast at 120 miles an hour. And what happened is he turned his wheel a little too early, ends up caught on the curb. So when that happens, Nasba sees her chance. She opens the door to leave. Christopher grabs the AR-15, which is sitting in the back seat behind him. Tomas was on his way to work at a construction site. We have no way of knowing what Tomas was thinking, but would have seen that the SUV's on a curb. And I believe that his first thought would have been, this was an accident and maybe somebody's hurt. And he sees a woman open the door and start running towards him. And I imagine him concentrating on her. And she's screaming, my husband has a gun, he's going to shoot. And by then she was almost to safety. Chris comes out of the driver's side and he shoots her full of bullets. And then he immediately turns his gun on Tomas. And at that point, I don't believe that Tomas had a chance at all. Unfortunately for Tomas, he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. So it just really struck me hard. The fact that Tomas was pulling up there to help her. This man stopped to help a complete stranger, and he was murdered as well. And that's the scariest part of all.
I hadn't spoken to Nazba for 4 months. Since he broke her arm, and I couldn't get in touch with her anymore. I didn't know where she lived. Couldn't find her address. I couldn't remember her ex-husband's name. Ultimately, he called me. And he said, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but Nazba has passed away. And I said, he killed her, didn't he? Blamed myself for a long time because I knew she was in danger. I felt helpless and weak and vulnerable for her. And knowing that I couldn't get to her was terrible. And knowing that I was right was worse.
In this case, we were seeking the death penalty because, for me, it was a premeditated murder. Christopher had taken that AR-15 and had put it in the back seat where he could have easy access to it. So that's the premeditation for me. And what bothered me the most is he was not sorry or remorseful. And in my 21 years at the county attorney's office, there has not been very many people who didn't show any remorse. But Chris pled guilty to avoid the death penalty.
On 5/31/2016, at approximately 5:45 a.m., I was involved in a motor vehicle accident when I noticed my wife was on the phone with what was sounded like 911 dispatch. My wife left the vehicle and ran around the hood towards the pickup truck that was stopped to the west of my vehicle. I exited the vehicle using the driver door and approached Nazba and tried to pull her back towards my vehicle by her hair. She continued to talk on the phone to what I assumed was 911 dispatch, and at that time I returned to my vehicle, got an assault rifle, and fired 3 shots at Nazba and 3 shots at a man later identified as Tomas Olivas Ornelas.
That day at Chris's sentencing, it was really hard. I was mad and hurt, but that's not what I wanted to bring to the courtroom that day. I wanted her there. And I wanted, ultimately, Chris to know that she was there and she would not be forgotten.
I didn't know him at all, but this is the guy that helped my mother. Tomas died being the last kind face that my mother would see. He died being a great man. Right now, I'm finishing 5.5 years of active duty Army service. I am married to the most wonderful and loving woman. She loves her children just as much as my mother loved us. I think she'll be proud of all of us. But there's no amount of words that I can put together in a sentence to express how much I miss her, or even just what I would say to her if I had a chance to speak to her again.
This is her. She's beautiful. Her baby boy. Her smile. She looks happy. And he took that away from her. All I could wish was for him to come back. I would give anything for that one phone call to tell him that I love him, that I miss him. He's a hero. He didn't think twice about helping somebody else without even thinking of the consequences. He will forever be my hero. If only more people were like him.
This is Jordan's dad and me and Jordan in Savannah, Georgia. Jordan was always so full of life. Yep, we were very happy. Jordan was very adventurous. He would hide on me all the time and I couldn't find him. I would find him down inside the dryer. He took sand and he poured it inside of our riding lawnmower in the gas tank. He was very mischievous when he was little. But Jordan loved everybody. He was easygoing, happy all the time. In 2012, around the age of 20, Jordan came to Tennessee with me. His dad and I had split up. I was remarried, and that's when he started going to the college, going to school, working at a pizza place. And that's when he met Kiera. And they started dating. I liked her a lot. Very outgoing. She fit right in. I mean, he was truly in love with her. I would say that Kiera and Jordan dated for probably a year before she became pregnant. I was super excited. You know, I was going to be a grandma. And Jordan was just ecstatic because that's what he always wanted. He wanted his own little family.
Kiera was just the most loving child you could imagine. And she loved her mom, you know, and her mama loved her. Kiera didn't tell me about Jordan until she was pregnant. Kiera sat me and my husband down and was like, you know, I hate to say this, but I'm pregnant. I asked who he was, and she said, Jordan Hazel, and he wasn't from around here. I said, are we talking marriage? What are we talking about? And she says, no. She said, I actually want to live with him, Mom, and see how this thing goes. And I was so happy she said that because I didn't know him. I wanted Kira to take her time. And that's how Jordan was brought into the family. When I first laid eyes on him, he was just gorgeous. He was the most perfectest baby. You know, which all grandmothers are going to say that, but he was exceptional. You know, he was the prettiest baby you ever saw. Seeing Jordan and Kira hold Caden, it was amazing. He was so excited. Kira just cried and said, Mama, look, he's so perfect. And I said, yeah, baby, he is. He's a perfect baby and he's absolutely beautiful. It was love at first sight when they saw Kate. Just like a little happy family. You think, oh, this is going to be a great ending, you know. But not so much in this case.
So when I got the call for this case, it was in the earlier morning hours that there was a homicide that had occurred, and the suspect was actually taken into custody on scene. Being that we already had somebody in custody, the most important thing for me to do at the time is speak with the suspect and figure out what happened. Very much so on the fly from the start. I just didn't have a whole lot, you know, to go off of.
All right, turn around. Turn around, have a seat right here for me, sir. You want any water?
Yeah, I'll take a glass of water, sir.
Okay, all right.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
He was polite. He was very friendly and kind of meek. It was definitely not what I expected to see as the suspect of the murder.
Hey, I just want to confirm, you're Jordan?
Yes, sir.
Hazel, is that how you say it, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Jordan Michael Hazel.
Okay, sir.
I don't know anything at this point. I only had about 15 or 20 minutes or so before I was in the interview room with him. But, you know, that's just how it worked out. We have a suspect, we have a crime, and we have somebody that's ready to talk. What we have to do is, you know, get in there and talk to him and find out as much as we can.
When Jordan was around 17, things really changed. He was using drugs, and then he was drinking on top of it. I always assumed that it was maybe his childhood trauma was resurfacing again. Jordan was molested when he was a child. It started when he was about 2 years old and went till he was 5. And I had him in therapy when he was younger. I just assumed that, okay, maybe he needs to go talk to somebody again. And of course, he didn't want to listen to me. He wanted to do what he wanted to do. And it just escalated and got worse, and he ended up getting arrested. That's when he got out of there and moved to Tennessee with me. But he was still a very sweet boy. Even though all this was going on, he was still sweet. When Caden was born, I thought, okay, you know, he's finally growing up, and I was excited.
When Caden was born, I stayed with them for a week. just, you know, to give her rest and help with the baby and different stuff. He was smoking and he went out on the patio, and I had walked out there with him. He said, you know, I need to tell you something. I was arrested for counterfeiting. And I'm like, counterfeiting? And he said, yeah. I was like, does Kira know this? And he's like, yeah, Kira knows it. And I was like, what happened? And he said, well, I was counterfeiting money. And he said, I've got an 8-year prison sentence that I'm supposed to be in Georgia on probation. And it took me by shock. After he had went to work, I asked her, I was like, why didn't you tell me that Jordan was arrested, had been in prison for counterfeiting? And she said, Mom, that was his past. She said, he's changed, and that was before he met me. And I was like, well, it would still been nice to have known, Kira. And she said, well, I don't want y'all thinking bad of him, you know? And I was like, okay, I understand. And so in my mind, he's done his time. He's on probation. And everything's was okay. Oh, the wedding was beautiful. She was just extra beautiful that day, you know, in her dress, and just all smiles and a glow that I've never seen before. She was so excited about starting a new life. After the wedding, that's when she told me she was pregnant with Jalen. Well, I was happy, you know, another grandbaby. Who's not going to be excited? Just whatever mom wants for their daughter, you know, you get that quiet time before you have to hand them off to someone that's supposed to love and care for them. And you think you're handing them off to a better life and spread their wings and they're going to fly. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to.
Oh, you sit down. You're fine.
When I sit down and talk to him, he agreed to interview. He waived his rights. He was a little bit more quiet at first, but he answered my questions. My focus was trying to establish a timeline of events. He said he had worked that day, come home from work. It was somewhere around 6 p.m. And he had some sort of a verbal disagreement with Kira. After that, he had got into his vehicle, in which I later found out that was to retrieve the shotgun that he used during the crime. And he said he started loading the gun up. He loaded the gun up in the truck.
So you got the shotgun, it's all loaded up and everything? Yeah.
He went inside the residence and he went through the hallway. He said that he called his wife Kira to him.
And she comes out. Is she what? Is she in the doorway? Is she in the hallway? Or is she?
She's still in the bedroom.
So she's
make it out of the bedroom.
So you call her, and how many times did you shoot her?
I shot her twice.
Why twice, I guess?
I don't know. I shot twice.
I was definitely shocked that he said that, but after he shot her was the more shocking part, which was after he shot her, then he left the residence. Well, inside the residence is still Caden and Jalen, a 3-year-old boy, and about a 9-month-old girl. And that Caden had actually come up to him, obviously scared. He probably saw part of it and definitely heard it. Jordan is in the process of leaving the house. He actually shoves him back in the house and he shuts the door and leaves. I'm not saying it's normal for a husband to shoot their wife, but for someone to shoot their wife or their loved one in the presence of the children and then literally leave your child in a house with your wife dying and bleeding, writhing in pain, that's shocking. Just makes you go, oh my God, this is awful. This is, horrific. That's evil. And it was right around that point where I took a break and went out and started to kind of gather my thoughts.
When you took this break, did you already know when his children were dead?
No.
When Jalen was born, Jordan wasn't the same happy self like he was with Caden. I never seen him smile during the whole thing. And within, I'd say, 3 months of Jalen being born, I'm loving on Caden, and he's like, Granny, Daddy's mean to my mama. And I was like, Daddy's mean to Mama? He said, yes, Daddy makes my mama cry, and he hurts my mama. I had to hold my composure because here's a 3-year-old that's telling me that his mama's getting hurt. And so I kind of just said, well, Caden, is Daddy hurting you? And he said, no, but he makes my mama cry. And I did question Kira about it, and she's like, Mom, she's like, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And that was about all she would say. She never went into detail. There was no real red flags until the bruises started appearing. And I was like, Kira. She said, well, we got into it and he just grabbed me for a second. And you could see the handprints around her neck. And I was like, well, it's not okay that he's choking you. And that was all she would, it's not a big deal. I handled it. Everything's taken care of.
No. I never saw Kira and Jordan fight with each other. No. Anytime I saw them, they were always happy. They were always happy. I never saw any kind of bruises, physical abuse to Kira from Jordan. Jordan took flowers home to her all the time. Jordan bought her gifts all the time. He never, ever abused her. And he was a good dad, a very good dad.
Her family mentioned that they had noticed bruises on her before.
No. I know he didn't abuse her, so no. And and if they say that he did, well, then how come they didn't do something about it? Why didn't they step in and do something if they were so concerned about it? So I don't believe that at all. When Jordan was 20 years old, he told me that he could hear the voices through the radios and he could hear them through the television. And they were telling him to do things that he shouldn't be doing. I didn't think anything of it and told him, just shut the radio off, shut the TV off. Don't listen to it, Jordan. And, you won't have to worry about it. He hadn't mentioned anything about hearing voices or anything in several years. So I thought that maybe it was just a phase that he was going through. And then all of a sudden it came back again. So I suggested several times for him to go to a counselor or go see a doctor. He said he didn't need to do any of that.
When we left off, we were at him leaving the house, And he told me that he left the house, and he kind of led me to believe that he was going to drop the shotgun off, but he didn't. He had turned around and went back to the house. He went inside, and he encountered his 3-year-old boy, Caden, in the hallway. Caden had run up to him and trying to give him a hug, and he pushed him back with his hand to get him back far enough to where he could shoot him.
He was trying to follow me around, and then I caught him, over by the spare bedroom, and that's when I shot him. I think I shot him in the head too.
That was extremely shocking. I wasn't expecting that. Thinking of him shooting a child with a shotgun, I couldn't even imagine. But you can't just fall apart in the middle of the interview. It doesn't help the case. It doesn't help anybody. And, our whole job is to speak. To speak for all the victims. So, we can't just fall apart. He said after he had shot his son in the hallway that he had went into the bedroom, and that's where Jalen was, in the playpen. She was about 9 months old, in a onesie.
And then I went in and shot Jalen in her bed. Shot Jalen once and shot Caden once, and I did the same thing again.
Shot everybody again. So everybody essentially got shot twice.
Right.
All right. What was the reason behind that?
It just felt like that's what I had to do.
That's what you need to do?
What are you thinking about right now?
Karen. She's the one that discovered the bodies.
I happened to be up reading the Bible when Cindy called from Texas. And she said, Karen, I hate to ask you to do this. She said, but Jordan, he's acting strange. Will you go up there and check on things? And I said, yeah, I'll get ready and go on up there. I was expecting to find my daughter beat up, covered in bruises. And when I got out and knocked on the door, I could hear the TV, but nobody came to the door. So I beat some more and nobody came. Well, I called Kira's phone and Jordan answered it. And I said, Jordan, let me in. And he's like, Karen, you don't want to come in here. And I told him, I said, Jordan, you got 5 seconds to unlock this door or I'm calling for a welfare check. And I heard the door unlock. And he opened the door. He was eating a bologna sandwich. And I said, Jordan, this has got to stop. And he said, it's done. It's over. In my mind, he's leaving. It wasn't registering. It could be anything other than that. And I was like, where's Kira? And he said, she's in the bedroom. He said, you don't want to go back there. I said, what, Jordan? Is she covering up bruises? Is she hiding what you've done to her this time? And he says, Karen, I'm telling you, you don't want to go back there. I walked down the hallway and I walked in the bedroom. I pushed open the door. I looked down and Kira was at the foot of the bed. And I could see a big hole in my baby's head. And I knew that she wasn't alive.
When we first spoke, you asked me if I had heard the 911 call.
I want to hear it.
You want to hear it?
Because I don't remember. I mean, I remember, but I don't remember.
Emergency. Ma'am, if you don't stop screaming, I can't get you help. Chloe.
Ma'am,
Oh my God!
listen to me. Listen to me.
Oh my
You're
God!
yelling. It makes it very difficult to understand you.
I'm trying to calm down.
Okay,
I
you
just
have to
walked
because
in,
I
my
can't
child
understand
is
a word you
dead.
say. What's going on?
I go back there and my child's brain just splattered everywhere.
Okay, ma'am. I understand you're in a very upsetting situation.
Where are my grandbabies? Where are my grandbabies? Jordan, please tell me you can have my grandbabies. I want to. No. Oh, God, please help me!
Is her husband still there?
I got him on the ground outside. Please get somebody here because I can't take much more.
Everybody is on the way to you, okay?
Please.
Children that you're saying you can't locate.
Please get me to get outside. I know they're dead.
Are you saying that the children are also... How many children?
Two children are dead.
Remember, start dialing 911, and I'm trying to back out of the bedroom. Her hallway is hardwood flooring. It was kind of tacky, gluey feeling. I remember slipping. I kept sliding. I felt something on the back of my leg. And I knew it was Caden. And I kept saying, I've stepped on this baby. I've stepped on this baby. And I'm screaming. I just remember screaming. And Jordan's still on the couch and he's holding his ears and he's rocking. And he said, I'll do whatever you say if you'll stop screaming. And he said, I'll go outside and I'll get on the ground. And I told him, I said, go get on the ground. Get out of here. And that's what he did. Finally, I sent a police officer come. And I kept screaming, he's killed my babies. And then this officer's like, we need to come in. Let us in. And I kept telling him no, that nobody else was going to hurt my babies. I was trying to protect them, I guess. And then finally this one officer, he grabbed my hand. And he said, we're here to help your babies. If he hadn't said that, I probably wouldn't have ever let nobody in.
I knew something was wrong when Kiara called me. She was very upset, crying, said that Jordan had took their wedding picture and ripped it in half and threw his half in the trash. And she said he was just mumbling, saying things that made no sense whatsoever. And I said, well, where's he at? And she said, I don't know. He left and went somewhere. And I said, well, if you don't feel safe, Kiara, don't stay there. I said, just pack the kids up, get in your vehicle and leave. And she goes, no, I'm fine. He'll be fine. Everything will be okay. I said, okay. And then I text her again, probably about 9:30, and I never got a response back from her. Jordan called me, and I could tell something was not right with him, and he hung the phone up on me. And that's when I called Kira's mom. And I said, something is not right here. You need to go down there. And then I got a phone call from my ex-husband. And he said that Jordan has killed Kiara and the kids. Oh my God, I just lost it. I broke down. I was screaming, crying. I said, my son has just killed his family. My son has just shot and killed his family. You always hear about this stuff happening to families. And you think that it's never going to happen to your family. How could somebody do that? Sometimes I just wished it was all a dream and I could just wake up.
When I pulled up to the crime scene to look at it and to get a walkthrough for the first time, you could see that everybody was wore out, mentally exhausted. The crime scene was so brutal and so shocking to the conscience that you don't even believe that what you're looking at is real. The first thing I notice is in the hallway, I notice there's a blanket. And then I get a little bit closer and I notice that the blanket is covering up the 3-year-old boy. His hand is sticking out. It implied to me that when Jordan had killed him, that he knew it was wrong, which is why I believe he covered him up. In the master bedroom, right there towards the corner of the room, there was a playpen, and that's where Jalen was, on her back from where she'd been shot in the head. This is definitely the most shocking thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. Some of the images will definitely, you can't get rid of. They stick in the back of your head forever. The crime scene was so gruesome and so violent that there was actual blood and tissue and different pieces of the victims that were all over from ceiling to floor. It was 360 degrees of just terror.
So what did you think you had to gain out of all this?
To get my life back.
During the course of the interview, I'd asked him multiple times what he was trying to gain out of all this graphic violence. He stated that he wanted to get rid of his past, to kill his past. And that was why he killed his entire family.
So what do you think the next part of your life is now?
I have no idea, but I'm ready to do whatever God's will may be.
2 weeks prior to her murder, Kira was at work, and she called, and she said that Jordan told her to leave and be gone by the time he got home. And she said, "Mom, will you meet me there at 3?" I was like, "Yes, thank you, Lord. You know, I'm getting my baby out of here." And so we get back to my house, and we come in, and we sat down, and Kira's phone rings. And you could hear him screaming, you know, "Get home now." And she said, "Okay." And I was like, "Baby, don't go." She said, "I made a vow before God to love this man for better or for worse." And she said, "That's what I'm going to do." I said, "Well, leave the kids here And she's like, no. She goes, Mom, he will never hurt these kids. I wish I could have hogtied her. I wish I could have forced her like she was a kid. And this would have been avoided. I had to let her live her life. His mom is not that innocent. She was trying to make me believe that Jordan was insane. But there was no insanity to this. What he done was pure evil. He set out to do it. He knew what he was doing. But, you know, maybe that's her way of coping of what her son really did.
I hold anger against Kiara's mom because I was very open with her on everything that I thought was going on with Jordan, and I tried to reach out to her several times, and she would have nothing to do with me. So I didn't do anything wrong. I never wanted Jordan walking out on the streets again, because what if he snaps again and he does it to somebody else? What I did want for him was him to be placed in a mental institution where he could get the help that he needed. Jordan was diagnosed by, I think there was 6 doctors on the stand that all said he was paranoid delusional schizophrenia, and that they did not feel that he would ever be competent to stand trial. But the judge said otherwise. But no, I do not think that Jordan is evil. And I'm not saying that just because he's my son.
To this day, it's still the most horrific crime scene that we've ever had in the history of our city. He's done the most horrific acts that I've seen one human do to another in my lifetime. It's just, it's unspeakable. He is in jail, and he won't be able to hurt anybody else for the remainder of his life. People are safer with him exactly where he's at.
I have lost Kiara. I have lost Caden. I have lost Jalen. And I've lost Jordan. When he took their lives, his life was gone too, because he's never been the same. I don't hold anything against Kiara's family. I mean, I've always loved them and always thought of them as my family. I would love it if one day we could actually speak to each other. Life is way too short, and I've learned that just by what I've lost.
There's days that God has to get me through. One thing it's taught me, though, is I make time. I make time with my other kids, my other grandkids. I got as much time as they need. It's just like with Cindy. I know I'm upset and I'm mad and it sounds terrible, things that I've said, but I hope that one day me and her can come to a cordial gathering for the sake of our grandkids. Kira's birthday was just Thursday. And it was a tough day. Her birthdays are always tough. But I know she's with God. And I have peace in that. That nobody can hurt her or Caden or Jalen ever again.